This is the bow we'll be making today, and so I hope you enjoy. Hello, my name is JC, and I have been asked to do a tutorial on a complete twisted boutique bow. So I'm going to start with telling you what you need, and you're going to need your lighter, your scissors, thread, you're going to need a salon clip and an alligator clip, you're going to need a barrette and some 3/8 ribbon to be able to cover it and do the center of your bow. You're going to need trim, some felt circles, some feathers, and you're going to need your ribbon. And you're going to need, this is 1.5 inch ribbon, and it is 30 inches long. And you'll need 1 piece of that. You'll need 2 pieces of 7/8 inch ribbon that is 23 inches long. You will need 2 pieces of 7/8 inch ribbon that is 26 inches long. You'll need 3 pieces of 7/8 inch ribbon that is 7 inches long. And you'll need 9 spikes that are all 6 inches long, and a needle and thread. So let's get started. First of all, move some of this out of the way. I'm going to start with the first twisted bow. You're going to need to heat seal your ends with your lighter. I already did that. And so fold the ribbon over to the center, making sure that you have the pretty sides out. Okay? Now find the center of the bow, or the center of the ribbon. And you're going to take, oh, you need a hot glue gun. And put a little dab of glue right in the center. And then, sorry, that was not sealed good. Okay. Take it around to the center. And put a little dab of glue. Turn it around and do the exact same thing on the other side. And you'll have this shape. And so you're going to, I put my thumb inside this loop and hold the center and take the center down to the middle, and then the bottom up to the center. And I hold right here in the middle, and I get my salon clip, and I do that. I turn it over. And you can see where one loop is not even. And so this is where you will take and adjust a little bit till you get it to where the loops look even. And okay, and you will need a piece of, I use embroidery thread, whatever you choose to tie your bow with, and put it through both ends of a salon clip. And I take an alligator clip and I stick it on the end of the salon clip to keep it closed. Turn it over, and I loop twice and pull tight. I hold, tie it again, and I tie it a third time. Cut those off. Okay. You shape your bow when it comes out. Don't get scared if it looks funny. And you will get your topper bow, or the top 7/8 bow. You need to spray this with whatever your choice of stiffening is. I use hairspray, and set it aside. And that's the top bow. And then now we're going to do the next bow. Same way, heat seal your ends. And I choose to use on the second bow, since you're not going to see the inside of it, I use a solid ribbon, but you can use a ribbon of your choice. The printed ribbon will be on the outside. Fold it in half. We're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to come down, find your center, little dab of glue, come up to the center, and put a little dab of glue there. And come up from the center with this one. I saw glue right here that I want to get off. Sorry. And you'll have the same shape you had when you made the first bow, just slightly larger. And you're going to take and put your thumb in and hold the center. Take the top down and the bottom up. Hold. Put your salon clip back on there. Turn it over, and you'll see what your bow's going to look like. Okay, I'll need that another piece of string to tie with. Okay. Okay, we'll cut these off. And you have your second bow. I stretch it a little bit to where the loops are a little bit more angled. That's your choice. This is simply the way I do it. And so if you have another way that you prefer, then I would go with what you like. Okay. And you have your second bow. You will need to spray it with hairspray and set it aside and let it dry. Okay, onto the spikes. You're going to need 9 pieces to do them the way that I do. And you're going to take the ends of the ribbon. I fold mine in half, and I make a angled cut on each end. Like that. And then you need to heat seal all of them. I've already heat sealed the other ones. Okay. Now to build your spikes, I always like to have one ribbon that's different, that's in the center, and I put that face down. And then I'm going to go with a red. And the matching one to it. And and line up the corners when you do this. And I'm going to go with a white. And then black. When you're doing the spikes upside down, I make sure that the top of the pattern it's right side up. And so I'm holding it that way when I lay it down. Okay, just keep building until you have your spikes. I use a salon clip and I hold her right in the middle and I stick it underneath all of it. Okay, and I pick them up and then I hold right here in the center. I'll use alligator clip. This is salon clip. Put the salon clip in the middle, turn it over, and you can look at what your spikes are going to look like. Okay, you need your string. And go in one end and out the other. I don't use a salon clip on this one, but I guess it would be your choice. Tie these off. I don't tie them as tight as I do the middle bows because I want to be able to work with them a little bit, but I do tie them pretty tight. Okay. And now once you get it off there, they are going to look amazingly beautiful, let me tell you. Okay, so what I do is I kind of push them up from the back, and then I start with whatever the top one is on this side, and I move it to the side, and I don't worry about all this. You're worrying about these two ribbons right here. And you get them lined up, and I take a hot glue gun, and I dab right there on the corner, and I tape, or I glue. And then I keep going until all the spikes, and then okay, when you get to your center ribbon, stop there and go to the bottom, okay, because you want them even. So start at the bottom, and then when you get here, you can evenly put a little gap in between these two and just fold the center one up and put a little bit of glue on each side right here. Okay, and now you have one side of your spikes is done. Make sure you don't have glue strings everywhere. Okay, you do the exact same thing to the other side. Glue strings, glue strings. Okay, and when you get to the center, leave just a little gap, like that. Fold your center one up. And glue it down. Okay, and there's your spikes. They didn't look that pretty when they came out, but there you go. And if you want all the glue off the back, you can take a lighter and or not have your glue gun on forever before this video, and it wouldn't leak so bad. So, but you can take a lighter and clean up the back. Okay, And then you will also need to spray these. I spray heavier on the back and just a little bit on the front, and let those set aside and dry. And so now we're going to make the pinwheel. Okay, you have your 30 inches of ribbon. You're going to need to take and heat seal both ends. Okay, I have this little, it's 6 inches. Okay, and you wrap it around. Okay, well, obviously it's not going to work with me today. Okay. You can also eye it. Okay, and there you go. You want to overlap your ribbons as you're going. Don't put them on top of each other. Okay, and then fold where this one crosses over, fold and then fold back, and then a mountain and a valley, and there you go, back down. And then I take a piece of thread and tie it off. And you have a pinwheel. I take the 2 ends, so I guess you didn't have to heat seal them, but, and cut a slant cut like that, and heat seal. And set it aside and let it dry. Okay, and now we have a couple more parts to make. These are the side bows, and how I make them is I take, this is 7 inches, and I fold it over, like, okay, with the printed side facing you, fold it under, okay, and then back over until they're even. Okay, you can take a little clip and you can clip it, and you could look at the back and see what the back does. That's all that it is. Okay, I don't sew these, but I do use a needle to fold them. And so what I do is I go down and up and down and up, and where my needle goes back down, I go over the fold to where that fold is hidden, and always make sure, and then I just take and squish it, and see, and take your thread. Try to use matching thread for these if you choose to do this bow in a different style. I don't wrap these with ribbon, so it needs to be a matching thread to whatever color ribbon you're using, or it's going to be seen on the finished bow. So okay, and you have this little guy, and so what I do is I take my thumb and I kind of push in to where the little tail kind of pops up, and there you go. You have that little 2-inch bow. And so you'll do the same thing with the next one. And tie it off. And you have your 2 bows. Now this one right here is a center, it's a mini ruffle. It's going to look like this. And this is for the center of the bow. And this is also 7 inches. Okay. And once again, oh yes, it is for the, okay, you take your needle and you just do a running stitch. This is why I like the long needles, but just go back and forth until you get to the end of the ribbon, only along the top of the ribbon. And please don't poke yourself, because it does not feel good. Now, when you end, make sure the bottom of your ribbon is down. Okay? Squish it together. You'll have 2 ends. I just hold it with my pinky and tie it off. Pull your thread to the back and cut. And so your thread's in here, and hold it with the little pieces, and take your glue gun and run a little bit of glue right down that one edge and stick your 2 edges together. Okay, and now on the back of this, I also, in order to help it attach to the bow, I take a felt circle and put it right on the back. And so you have your little ruffle flower. It's it's almost 2 inches, about 1 3/4 inches. Okay, and you can set that aside. Okay, and here is little pretty feathers. Okay, just to help these attach to the bow, I take and put felt on the front and the back like a sandwich. And that way, when I put them on, then it's easier for it to stick, and you're not dealing with feathers flying everywhere they're not supposed to. Okay. And there's another part made. Let's just set it aside. This is the last part. This is 9 inches. It's a double layer lace. And you just take the end and fold it under. And then take your needle and do the same little back and forth stitch that you did on the flower. Until you get to the end. Only along the top. And when you get to the other end, in order to help cover or hide this end, fold the lace under before you get to the end. That way it's in there. And then take your thread with a knot tied in the end. I have done it without a knot. It's very frustrating. Okay. pull it through. And then on the very end here, just go back through that very end one and tie it off. And back through and tie it off. If you see like you have a little piece up here or something, you can trim that. Okay, and that's what you're left with. And you'll take, and this is the one that I have done, you'll take a little bit of felt and you'll stick it right here on the back, just to help hold all those ruffles together, and it helps it attach to your bow. Okay, and so now we have our parts all made, and we're going to start building our bow. And so take the inside of the metal out, piece of 3/8 ribbon. I cover my clips. I find it that it makes it look more finished that way. Okay, heat seal your ends. Okay. And you have a covered clip. Pinwheel, and it's hairsprayed. Put a bead of glue on your clip right in the middle, and then push from the other side and just kind of hold it for a second. Let it get on there really good. Okay. And now you need to decide if you have a preference of whether or not you want to put the bow in this way, right-handed, or if you'd rather put the bow in the hair left-handed, because that's the way you're going to put your spikes on. So I'm right-handed, so the clip opens with this way, and I'll lay it down. Okay, and the next layer that goes on are your spikes. And you're going to put a little bit of glue right in the middle. And you're going to put your spikes on. Okay. And now the next part is you'll take your top bow and your base, well, your second Twisted Boutique bow, and you'll put one inside the other. And so put a tad of glue in the bigger one and set this one inside it. Okay, now in order to make my loops stay where they're supposed to, if they don't, you can take a little bit, and I'll glue one to show you. Like about right here on the bottom, you can take a little tad of glue, and you can take and stick the loops together. That way it'll make the loops stay where they're supposed to stay if it doesn't exactly fit inside. And so there's your 2 boutique bows nested inside, and we're going to take that and we're going to glue it to this. So put a little bit of glue, make sure it's right side up, matching your spikes, and put it right on the spikes, and hold it there and let it get good and heavy. Okay. Now this is when I wrap my bow with my center 3/8. I just find it's easier to add all the other stuff once the middle's already good and secure. And so heat seal the end and turn your bow over and put a little bit of glue. Right there on the back in the center. Sorry, I needed a glue stick. And wrap around. I put a little tad of glue right here. You don't have to, I just choose to. Sometimes your bow, if you're rushing, your bow will slide if you don't. Okay. And come around to the back. Little bit of glue. And wrap one more time. You will want to heat seal before you glue it down. Okay, and this is when, because unfortunately I have forgotten sometimes, put this little silver thing back in. And close your bow. Okay. Now, this is what you have. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to add our lace right here on this side. And so we're going to take a little bit of glue right here on the back of the felt. We're going to lift this up and we're going to stick it right down here. I like mine on top of the spikes. If you prefer to have it under, then that's fine too. And see, I don't like how this loop is like not minding. So what I would do was take a little tiny bit of glue right here and make it mind. And see? Now it's doing what it should. And I'm going to take this little feather and it's going to go on this side. Right in here. And I don't like how I can see the felt, and so you can trim that down. It's just to kind of help you to stick it in there without having to deal with all the feathers down there. And so there we go. Okay. And so you would add glue on the front of the felt and the back of the felt. Hold the feathers and push it right down in there and glue it. Okay. Make your feathers all pretty. Okay, and now for the side bows. I always look to see which way I like them better, but I think I like them this way. So put a little bit where the two ribbons meet. Put a little bit of glue and add the bow. I hold inside the loop. Make sure it gets really good and on there. And same with the opposite corner. Okay. And there you go. And then you need your little ruffle that has its felt pad on the back. And you will take and glue that to the center, just like this. And I made some clay embellishments for the center, and so I would E6000 this, E6000, and see if it's going to mind me. Of course it doesn't want to come out right now. Okay, use E6000 when you put clays on here. They'll stay. But for the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to set it right here. But I will glue the two smaller ones. And so put a little dab of glue right in the center of the bow, the side bow, and put whatever embellishment you would like on there. Okay, and to be able to see this, I'm just going to simply put a little bit of glue just to tack it in place, because I'll come back and I'll E6000 this on here. And here is your finished bow. And so you can find us, we have a Facebook group called Rollin' and Ribbon. You can find us there, or on Etsy. And if you'd like to buy any of the ribbons today, you're more than welcome to join us. I'll leave the links below in the comment box. And any questions, please let me know. Thank you.